I love having unique things in my studio, but a lot of times those ideas mean that I have to make it myself, and today is no different. What's up everybody, I'm the Derek Frank, and today I'm going to show you how to make a really cool ceiling mounted TV stand. But not just any ceiling mounted TV stand. This one is going to be on a roller trolley system and it's going to be able to slide across the ceiling into different parts of the room. Now to do this, we need a few supplies. I'll have all the supplies listed in the description down below with my affiliate links and then also a couple local hardware options for you to buy some of these things. The first thing you're going to need is a piece of Unistrut. You can get these at pretty much any hardware store in the electrical section. Those run around $32 right now, that give or take a little bit with inflation and everything else going on. The next thing we're going to need is a trolley. This is a little piece that has 4 ball bearing wheels on it and then a mounting bracket, and that's how we're going to mount the TV stand to the Unistrut. You can find these on Amazon anywhere from $20 to $50 depending on the model you want, but the one I got was $30, and again, links are down below. Next, you're going to need a ceiling mounted TV stand. This stand was about 40 bucks, and we are gonna have to modify it a little bit, but nothing too crazy. Finally, you're gonna wanna get a couple of lag screws. Make sure that they're long enough that they can go into the stud of your ceiling or whatever you're mounting it to, but also make sure that they're not so long that it's going to cut through the stud and cause potential problems later or leave too much of a gap when you put it into the Unistrut. First things first, let's go paint these pieces. Now you don't have to paint them, but it does make it a little bit cleaner, and for my studio I like to have all of my conduit and my things that I'm mounting stuff to on the ceilings done in black. That's pretty much a universal thing and it looks nice and clean that way. I already had a hole drilled from my old system on one side, so I'm gonna reuse that. And I already put the bolt in here, so I'm just gonna line that up and get it mounted. There we go. That was actually really easy. Wow. It's also good to have an impact drill like this one. Impact drill is gonna make it better torque. So if you don't have one, I really recommend picking one up. There we go. Now that was really simple. Luckily, I already had all of my wires run from my past install, and that one was really cool, but the problem was that the TV wasn't holding super strong, and I didn't like the way that it kind of wobbled back and forth. Plus, this was the way I really wanted to do it the first time, but I didn't know where to find those trolleys because they don't sell them at your normal hardware store. But after watching a couple other YouTube videos, I saw that they're available on Amazon and pretty inexpensive. Now let's get this thing mounted. I already have the trolley system up in the rail because when I put this bolt in here, that is actually a stop piece. So I'll show you, you don't want your trolley and your TV flying off. So that sticks out far enough that it stops that trolley. Same with the one on the very end. Now it's a little bit loud, but there you go. Then once we're done, we're gonna pin these wires up a little bit more. But let's get this thing mounted right here. We want to make sure we get this nice and tight on there. You can always loosen it a little bit if you want to adjust it side to side, but I would prefer to have this locked on there pretty good. So there's still a little bit of sway with this system, but not nearly as bad as the old one, because the old one I actually made the brackets out of pocket door trolleys, and so it was a little bit janky. The other way that you can mount this Unistrut is by actual brackets that they make for Unistrut. I might get some to put in the middle just to make it that much more sturdy, but really it's not a very heavy TV and this is in there pretty good. Now make sure when you're doing this, you're actually going into studs and not just your ceiling drywall. I actually have like this soffit that some of the electrical from the house is running through, so it's perfect to do the edge on this to kind of secure that. I know most people aren't going to have that luxury, but I do, so I'm working with what I got. So now that I checked that everything works well, let's go ahead and get that TV back on here. Make sure you're careful. Also, this is a good time where you might want to enlist the help of a friend. I don't have any friends, so I'm just gonna do this by myself and hope that I don't drop it.
That's so very, very sad.
Let's grab the TV. I already have the back of the TV already mounted up, ready to go. Just need to grab that and throw it on the rail system. And this is a pretty normal TV mount. There's nothing special about it. All right. Now let's lock it down and get everything plugged in. Now that that's locked down, let's start plugging everything back into the TV and make sure it works before we go too crazy. Like I said, I already had this wired up from my past version of this, but I am gonna make it a little bit better with some really good cable ties. I prefer Velcro cable ties over zip ties. That way, if you need to move something, you can just undo it and put it back on, versus zip ties, you got to cut it and hope that you don't mess up any of the cables in there. Plus zip ties, sometimes you can go too tight and you can mess up your cables. You can buy these Velcro straps in bulk at any hardware store, even Walmart and Target or Amazon, of course. I am going to throw some more links down there. And while we're talking about links, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified when I do these projects. Helps out my channel a lot. Same with the affiliate marketing links on Amazon and with other sources that I use. It gives me a little bit of extra cash flow, makes it a little bit more lucrative for me to do these videos. Not very lucrative still, but I do them because I love them. So thank you guys. This is looking really good. Let's get these cables nice and tight in here. And I do have one of these carabiners on here as well. I'm gonna show you how I mount that. So the carabiner is actually going to clip up on this extra hole in the trolley. So we just want to take this and get that clipped in there. Make sure our cables are all clipped in. And that just gives us a little bit of extra security when this is rolling back and forth, that the cables don't get pinched. Now that I've got everything plugged in, let's test out the TV, see if it still works. This is the scariest part of every project. Works. The nice thing with this ceiling mount and with the trolley system is you have a lot of adjustability with your TV depending on the angle and whether it's the side to side or the left to right. So that way, no matter where you're at in the room, you can get a pretty good adjustment and a pretty good viewpoint. And as you can tell, even though it's still plugged in, I can move it side to side and not have to worry about it. So as you can tell, this is a pretty easy project to do. Even after painting it and getting everything set up, it still probably only took me 15 minutes to 30 minutes to do. And depending on your setup, I don't foresee it taking that long. Now, of course, if you have someone that can help you, especially holding the Unistrut and the TV, please do that. It makes it that much easier, but I'm impatient. And like I said, I don't have any friends unless somebody wants to come over and help me out next time. Just kidding. But as always, if you have questions, leave them down in the comments section. And thank you guys so much for hanging out. Hopefully your project goes well. Take care.